Welcome back aboard Arabella in Shelburne, Nova Scotia. First up this week, Steve and Robin pay a visit to Lunenburg and the schooner Bluenose. And later, Steve goes solo, single-handling Arabella under full sail for the first time.
All right, let's plot our course. All right, this is where the chart plotter is kind of challenging sometimes, figuring out exactly where the town is. Oh,
I think it's right in here.
Lunenburg Bay.
Yep, I think we want to go. Yeah, golf course, Lunenburg Harbor. That
perfect.
is.
That's it.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
We want to go to here. We'll do auto guidance. So the auto guidance does this sometimes. We want to stay this side of that red.
Yeah, it sort of unnecessarily brings you right over that little shoal there.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
It's not going to save us that many miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to be running at night. I would rather just
stay outside of all of that. Definitely. It actually looks like better winds a little more offshore anyway, so.
The auto guidance is nice though because it gets you going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see all the
markers. Definitely some corners we can cut in there.
Yep.
But yeah, that's great. I'm going to pull out the cruising guide and see what it says about the harbor and if there's anything we need to be concerned about.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, see what it says here. Lunenburg is one of the must-visit ports in Nova Scotia. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site that retains all of the look and much of the reality of the working fishing harbor that it was during the heyday of the Grand Bank salt fishery. Ashore, you'll find buildings and houses that are nearly unchanged from 100 years ago, but now contain a broad range of shops and eating establishments. Yes. Battery Point Foghorn is now user activated. Key the microphone on VHF channel 65A 5 times within 5 seconds, and the horn will turn on for 30 minutes.
I hope we don't need that.
I really hope we don't need that. You never know. Yeah, it doesn't say anything, nothing about like currents that we need to worry about or unmarked rocks or anything. Yeah, it looks pretty straightforward.
Well, it's almost 7 p.m. What do you think? Should we go sailing?
Yeah, it seems like the perfect time. Oh, the winds have been gusting so high all day. I had a lot of work to do. You had work to do.
Yeah. Yeah, they're settling down now. And we'll be at Lunenburg at a nice hour tomorrow if we can keep a halfway decent
Get there
pace.
nice and early, get to bed early. It'll be so lovely.
Yeah, it's nice. I like doing the overnights like this where you just go a bit offshore, make the miles, and then we don't have to stress about daylight. I hate looking at the arrival time and being like, oh man, we're like just going to come in at sunset.
Yeah.
I like looking at the arrival time. Like, oh, it's 11 a.m.
Yeah, I like that too.
Not a bad view from the bunk. I like it. I can't really see the mizzen, but I can see what the main is doing. And I can see what the code 0 is doing. And I can do it all while laying in my bunk. I like that. We had 20 knots that just immediately dropped to 10 and have been 7 to 10. So we're flying all possible sail, and there's virtually no sea state. It's a clear night, and we're just ghosting along, doing 3.5, 4.5 knots. And so it's a little slower, but it's super comfy, and I'm laying up here in the forepeak and gonna just get rocked to sleep here for a couple hours, nice and quiet. So can't complain. Beautiful night. All right, well, enjoy your 4 hours of sleep. I'm gonna go watch the boat.
Thank you, my honey. I love you so much. I will be up at 3:45 so I can make coffee, and you can probably go down at that point anyway.
All right, sounds good, my love. Sleep well.
If you need me, get me.
Oh, of course. The red lights have been really awesome. whenever we're out at night, we just turn them on dimly, and you can come down below and you can see, and they don't disturb anybody who's sleeping. Almost to Lunenburg.
Yeah, less than 10 miles to go. That was like the best way to do it. Just a quick overnight. Got to leave during sunlight, do the wide open ocean at night when there's nothing to hit, and pick up our mooring during sunlight.
What did you think of running the Code Zero? We ran it basically all night.
We ran all night. It was great. Otherwise we wouldn't have made miles. I mean, we were getting 8 to 9 knots of wind on the beam, and we were doing 4 to 5 knots. I mean, it's ghosting along, but compared to what Arabella would have done just under full sail, we probably would have only been doing like 2 or 3 knots.
Sometimes life just serendipitously works out for you. We were headed up here and we were planning on stopping in Lunenburg. And one of the things I wanted to see in Lunenburg was the Bluenose. So it's Bluenose II. Bluenose I was a famous schooner for fishing and racing back in the day when they were going out on the Grand Banks and hand lining for cod. She won a ton of races between the New England fleet and the Canadian fleet. It was a really famous boat. I read a lot about Bluenose. And I was texting with Jack McCullough, who's Dara Forest and Timber. He helped us with some of the planking and the work on Arabella. And Jack supplied some oak for schooner Bluenose a couple years ago for some of their planking stock and their repairs. And Jack wanted me to go check out Bluenose and go see how his oak was doing. So he was telling me that I should go check her out. I wanted to go check her out. And then we were coming into Lunenburg, and out comes this huge schooner, and it was Bluenose under sail doing one of her harbor tours. And then went on Instagram, and we had a direct message from the crew at Bluenose inviting us to go out for a sail the next day. And they are sold out for the bulk of their summer season. Sounds like there's trips available in the fall, and they say that that really is the awesome sailing time to go. The winds are good then. But we were really lucky to get an invite to go out on Bluenose. And I really thought that I was gonna have to go over and be like, hi, I'm Steve, and I built this wooden boat, and my friend Jack helped you with the oak, and I'd love to check her out. But no, they knew who we were, they knew we were coming, and had an invite waiting for us, which was pretty cool. It's really special, and I'm super excited to get out on Bluenose and check her out. So big.
Everything is just like
large by huge.
It's like if you pinched it and expanded everything that's on our boat. You know,
Yeah.
Everything's just that much grander and bigger. It was really cool to see down below in the living quarters and like where they're eating and spending their time as a crew and like, just thinking about, what did they say, 14
14 people living on the boat?
Yeah, I mean, thinking about sharing this space with like 14 other people and there being enough room for that. It's just, it's
Bluenose is a big boat.
big. These boats are so special. Like that's the way to experience sailing.
Yeah, I agree. So if you have the opportunity ever to get out on one of these wooden boats, I think it's well worth the money that you pay, and know that you know what you do pay to go out for the charters, and hopefully you tip the crew a little bit, and it's what keeps these boats in existence, because more of them are being cut up than are being built and maintained. And if they don't get people to go and that doesn't continue, then eventually these big old schooners will cease to exist,
Yeah.
and that would be really sad.
A lot of heritage lost.
Yeah. So get out there, have some fun, support an awesome cause. Doesn't matter which one, just get out there.
Go to that. Go a little way. Hold please, hold please. Hold on to this out, please. Go, go. I absolutely love this. I think it's just so adorable. I can't believe that the town and the people have had the time and the energy to create this and put these here, and that people have respected them and no one's come and trashed them. And you can just imagine the joy in little kids coming and walking through here and finding all these little fairy houses and exploring and making their wishes at the little wish center. And I just love it.
Robin would be heading off from here to go back to the Cape to pick up her truck and all of the climbing gear they had loaded up in Granby. With a bus from Lunenburg to Halifax, a flight to Boston, another flight to the Cape, and an Uber to her truck, she was set for a long day on the road. Steve and Akiva would be setting off toward Terrence Bay, with Steve piloting Arabella solo for the first time. Robin and the truck would meet back up with the boat about 5 days later. On the way back to the boat, Steve received an unlikely message. It was dated the same day it was found, and didn't seem to have made it too far. So Steve tucked it in his pocket and would give it a little help exiting the harbor on his way out.
So I've got 25, 30 miles or so to get to Cub Basin, and that's my goal for today. And it's just gonna be Akiva and I. So we are gonna be single-handing that. And this will be my first time single-handing Arabella. And I intend to sail. So it's not just gonna be a motor. I'm gonna come out of here in Lunenburg under motor and set the sails when we get out. And we should have a pretty nice beam run all the way over to Cub Basin. It's a little windy to get in there, so I'll have to put the sails away and kick the motor on before we get there. But the forecast is for 15 knot winds coming off the land, subsiding to 9 by this afternoon, early evening. So head on out on my first single-handing adventure. I'm pretty excited. I did it. I got out and I set sail and we're sailing.
Akiva was not much help. And we got Bluenose running up our stern.
Got out of Lunenburg without any issues, and serendipitously left the same time Bluenose was out on a tour, so tandem sailed with them for a bit, which was kind of cool. Hoisted all the sails and headed out, and then the wind dropped off on me. So I set the code 0, and then the wind immediately piped back up. So I took the code 0 down. Been running under full sail for most of the morning here. We've had, I think the lowest wind I've seen is 6 knots, and the highest I've seen is 20. We were hovering around 8 to 10 when I put up the code 0, and then it piped right up to 14, 15, so I put it away and continued to climb to 20, and it's been hanging out like 15, 18 knots or so. It's a little bit on the nose, but we can hold our course without much of a problem, so we're heeled over a little bit, but all in all the ride's pretty comfy. We're 3 miles out from having to have all the sails down as we start to snake through. I am not about to try to sail through there. And we've got 16, 17 knots of wind right now. We're moving at 5, 5.5, 6, heading into the wind a little bit. So I'm gonna go forward and put the staysail down and bring us down a little bit, and start getting ready to bring the rest of the sails down. If I drop the staysail, it won't really slow us all that much, and then the jib's real easy to furl, and then it's just down to the main and mizzen. But I'll get the engine going before I drop the main and the mizzen, and make sure that everything seems good there, so I can effectively switch from sail to power. But first, let's go get the staysail down. Okay, staysail is away. I'm about 2 miles out, which is probably much farther than I need to be taking the sails down, but we'll top up the batteries on the way in, and I'd rather have them down and plenty of time out here by myself with no rush than to get close and start to get nervous. So I got the engine running, and make sure that seems good. The jib's furled, the staysail's away, the auto helm is released, and the tiller's just swinging around. And the mizzen's up, and the main's up. And what's happening is it's just pointing us right into the wind since the head sails are down. And you can see we got about 2 miles or so from where we need to be. I've got tons of room in here just to drift and take the sails down. So I'm gonna go get the main down, then the mizzen, and we'll rev this puppy up and finish heading in. What do you think, Akiva? We're anchored in about 25 feet of water. And a couple other boats in the harbor for the night. It is beautiful. Not a house in sight. I'm loving it. Akiva doesn't seem to mind it either.
might hang out here for a day or two before heading to Terrence Bay. We'll see.
So we got our guidebook here. This is the Medicine Wall, and we are anchored in Cub Basin. So I'm gonna hop in the tender and come around the corner here and go see if we can find the Medicine Wall. Apparently the normal route is to park here and paddle over. But we are a hop, skip, and a jump away. So there's not a ton of climbing there. It's not particularly huge, but it is the first bit of on-the-water climbing we've come to, and I'm gonna go lay eyes on it, see if we can go find it. What do you think, Akiva? Is this the spot? Oh, water is so clear. There's a couple routes that go up through there, a few that come through this corner, a couple through these cracks, through these roofs, a couple little over here. Nothing's particularly that tall. I mean, I don't think this would be what you call a destination crag by any means. But the fact that we are in a beautiful anchorage 2 minutes around the corner and we can take the tender here and there's nobody here makes this a destination crag for us. This is what it's about. I can't wait for Robin to get back up here in a couple days with the truck and the climbing gear. If I had a rope, I would be top rope soloing today, for sure. I've got everything I need but the rope. So I'll have to wait for her to let the fun begin. But yeah, it's our first sight of some established routes in Nova Scotia. I can't wait.
Thanks for watching this week. Stay tuned next week as Steve moves the boat to Terrence Bay, where he'll meet back up with Robin again and continue the Canadian adventure. A special thanks to our supporters on Patreon that help keep us going and help get these videos made. Also, last weekend was the Ride for the Pan Mast Challenge that I've mentioned a couple of times here. Met a lot of incredible people, and I had a better time than I ever would have expected just doing it on my own for the first time. And I want to let you know that between the Acorn community and my big cinema family over at the screening room in Newburyport, we helped raise $8,000 so far. And all of that money is going directly to cancer research at Dana-Farber. Of course, if you still want to donate, you still can, at the link on the screen and in the description. Thank you all so much for being a part of that. See you again next week.